What's going on, you guys? It's Alex, and in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up experiments in Google Ads so you can test bids, ads, landing pages, bid strategies, keywords, whatever you want. So this way you can make full campaign changes completely safely without having to worry about dynamiting one of your accounts. This is the best way to test your Google Ads campaigns without destroying results. I come across and I audit and fix hundreds of Google Ads accounts every single year, and experiments are probably the best way to actually start making the most out of your campaigns. It's really what separates average campaigns from profitable ones. So I'm going to go over how the experiments work, how to structure them properly, and some of the mistakes that might be costing you money, and could be wired making the experiments the wrong way. In any case, let us just jump right into it. By the way, if you need help with Google Ads, you can click the link below. You can book a call with me. Happy to take a look at your campaigns, answer any questions you might have. And of course, there is a link to a Skool community below as well. You'll have access to me through that if you wanted to, as well as engage with the Google Ads community that we're building. So, jumping right into it. For Google Ads experiments, one of the main things you would test is going to be bidding strategies, but you can really test anything, and I'll just show you how to set that up. So, click into your campaign, and we do have the campaign here, and after clicking into it, or just clicking the drop down really, you'll see the option right here for experiments, right? So just go ahead, click on experiments. Most people, like 95% of accounts, even, and I have one here, even when I jump into accounts that another agency has been running or another agency has been working on, almost never have any experiments running. If I've been running a campaign for even 3-6 months a year, there's going to be an experiment for every single month, right? And you can just close out of any of the weird notifications. So from here, what you're going to do is just click on plus, and now you can test almost anything, right? So Google here is telling you can test campaign features and settings, right? So keywords or store goals just for a single campaign. You can test assets. So this is going to be headlines. This is going to be copy. It's going to be images, videos, whatever. For this one thing to keep in mind is that you should probably just run 2 ads within each ad group with different text. I have not found it super useful to test images and videos, although that would be more of an e-com thing. You can test campaign types, and I'll show you how to do that, but I will always just go through custom. It does say that you can compare multiple variables. For a split test, for an experiment, you really just want to test one thing at a time, or you won't know which of the changes you made actually worked, right? So click custom, click search. With custom, you can test everything, so it's just probably better to go custom. We will be testing a search campaign, so go ahead and click that. So for this, let's just say you wanted to test a bidding strategy and you want to test max clicks. So you would just add this as a max click site. Actually, let's go with max conversions because I had one there, but it wasn't running. So I'm going to be using this to test bidding strategies, but you can use it to test whatever you want, and I'll show you how to find what to test in just a second. Make sure you name it right so you know exactly what you're testing. Eventually, I have ones that are like part 2 or test 2, test 3, test 4, because I'm constantly testing, constantly trying to get the most out of client campaigns. For the campaign, again, you're only going to be selecting one, so just go ahead and select the campaign. Max conversions test, everything is good there. Click on save and continue. Now, this is where a lot of people get hung up. They think maybe they did something wrong, maybe there's an issue, but this is where you make the changes that the test will apply, right? So here, if you wanted to test, for example, copy, right, you would click into the campaign, you'd click into the ads, you'd make some copy changes, and then you would come through and click schedule, right? If you wanted to test images or assets or just running a few ad groups, whatever, this is what you would test here. To test the bidding strategy, I'm just going to click on the gear icon, right? So just remember, the changes you make here is the test. It's what's going to test against your other campaign. So here we have manual CPC as a bidding strategy. I'm just going to go with max conversions. And I'm going to test this at, I don't recall what the conversions are, but let's go with like $35 a call, right? This is an example. Click save. And then you can exit out of this window. Now that's it. Like I said, for these tests, you just want to test one thing at a time, right? And so once you've made that change, whether it's copy, or conversion strategy or keywords, right? If you want to test phrase match versus exact match, you can go to ChatGPT and even just Google like what are the best things to test. I always start with bidding strategies and then copy, but I have a process that I follow for that. Anyways, once you've done making one change to test, click schedule. So now you can set your experiment goals. Obviously, for the most part, you want cost per conversion to decrease, and then you want conversions or clicks, but in this case, conversions to increase. Experiment split 50-50. You can go with 70-30, 90-10, whatever, but then you'll have to just run the experiment longer, right? So 50-50 with 28 days is probably the best bet. There are some advanced options here, right? I do cookie-based. Now, for the duration, Google recommends 56. I like 30 or 28. It's a standard 4-week period, right? So just add a 28-day duration, right? Or just, you can choose the day here, whatever you want to do. 28 days, these are both the same. Start date is always going to be tomorrow. So you cannot start your campaign today. It's always going to start the next day. Enable sync. I always leave this on this way. If you make changes to your base campaign, so for example, search terms, if you're making copy changes, like if you just do a quick audit and you notice looking over the data that one headline is not performing, so you change that headline. If you just have this on, it'll change on both. So basically the campaign stays the same except for the change that you made as the test, right? So I always leave it on because I'm only testing one thing, and changes in one being applied to the other is not going to make a difference when we're just testing that one thing. And then of course for EU political ads, you just want to leave that as no. And then you just click create experiment, and that's it. Google is now going to say creating. Tomorrow morning it will start. Over time it'll split the budget, and then it'll just get you more. You'll get more and more data coming in. And that's really about it. You can also test things like ad variations. This will all depend on what you're testing as an experiment. Performance max, right? I'm mostly just using the custom experiments, and then it just shows up here. You'll also see it if you go back to your campaign. It doesn't have it now, but when you check tomorrow, it'll show two different campaigns here, right? So it'll show both of your test campaign and your main campaign. So keep that in mind when you're looking at data. One or the other might not show the most accurate data, but you can just click into both of those, and then you'll have all the data there for the experiment. It's really that easy, guys. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, click the link below if you want to book a call with me, if you have any questions, if you want me to audit your Google Ads account. There's also a link below for a Skool community you can join. You can interact with other people. We are growing the community at the moment, and you'll also get access to me for questions, concerns, reviews, audits, anything like that. As always, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.